Welcome to a solitaire playthrough video of the very cool States of Siege series game Ottoman Sunset, The Great War in the East, 1914 to 1918. This is designed by Darren Leveloff, published in joint cooperation by Victory Point Games and Tabletop Tycoon. This is a new third edition, and it just hit the streets recently, a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago. Very cool game. If you know anything about the States of Siege series, let me remove. By the way, nice artwork on the box. Really a big improvement. Not a huge improvement, but definitely an improvement over what was before. But as you can see from the board, this is a States of Siege series game. The player is taking on the role of the Ottoman Empire here in the Near East. Here is Constantinople, the capital city there on the Black Sea. You can see on the map, here's the Ottoman Empire represented. Here is Greece. Here are, this Narrows area is kind of a blow-up map there. It shows Gallipoli, which is obviously right here across from Constantinople, modern-day Turkey, parts of the Near East, Israel, Palestine, etc. But you can see all of these paths converge upon Constantinople. So you have the Salonika front, the Caucasus front, Mesopotamian front, the Arab front, and Sinai front. You also have the smaller one, the Gallipoli front. So this is the Gallipoli invasion. And then off to the left here is that blow-up map of the Narrows. So all these tracks you're going to have to fight off, surviving 50 card draws, and survive the game. It's very challenging. You can lose in one of several ways. You can lose if the British fleet makes it to Constantinople here without being destroyed. That can happen very quickly, and you've got to be prepared for that. So you'll see us doing a lot over here in the first 7 or 8 turns. You also will lose if any one of these fronts ever enters Constantinople. There's no, I got to get them out of there. No, once they enter, the game is over. So those are the two ways you're going to lose the game. You're going to win the game by surviving, and then you're going to calculate your score and understand. There's one more way you can lose. Let me move my dice tower. This is the Turkish national will track. If that ever gets to defeat, -4 or higher or lower, you will lose the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to talk about the rules as we go through, the various actions that can and cannot be taken. I did want to show you, these are the setup cards for the game. And you'll notice there are 4 of them. There are 4 different scenarios. You can do 1915, 1916, or 1917. Or you can do the whole grand campaign. I typically play the whole grand campaign, but these are very handy. The only complaint I would have is they're awful small. But anyway, you can play either of those 4. I like to play the grand campaign. If you play one of those scenarios, you're probably talking about 15 to 30 minutes for a game. The full grand campaign is probably 40, 45 minutes to an hour. But you can obviously lose a lot quicker than that. So let's go ahead and without further ado, we've got the first epoch cards. These are called, I believe, the morning cards. And there are about there are 13 of those. And these are randomly ordered. I like to start with number 1 just because you can do a historic variant where you start, but I'm going to go ahead and start with number 1. So you pull a card and you do what it says. So there's the name of the card, the number up here, historical text with a picture. This is the Intelligence Bureau for the East. This is an event section. This is where fronts are going to either retreat or advance. And then this is identifying what actions you have for the game, for the period of the game. So we're going to place the Intelligence Bureau for the East marker in the turkey box. I'll talk about that here in a second. We're going to advance the Mesopotamia front 1 space, and then we're going to take 1 action. So here is the Intelligence Bureau for the East marker. What it's going to do, and you place it in Turkey, when one of these coups come up, and there are 3 of them, India, Afghanistan, and Persia, if this marker is located in the box that the event says the coup is happening, you get a +2 modifier to that dice roll. You roll the 6-sided dice, and you have to overcome the power that's listed here on these coup counters. So this is India, and that power is 5. You've got to overcome the 5. So with a +2, you can win this with a roll of 3 or higher. I'm sorry, 4 or higher, because you got to overcome it. You can't equal it. So about a 50-50. But if your marker is not in the correct box, you don't get a modifier. You just roll a straight 6-sider and hope to roll a 6. I've had that happen sometimes. It does happen from time to time. So we put that in the Intelligence Bureau. Now I can use an action to move that to any one of those boxes that I choose. Because I've played the game, I know India is in these first 13 cards. So I will probably move it to India here in just a moment. But there's also a card in this first 13 cards that's going to say mix in the second deck. And in the second deck is the Persia coup. But you can see you're going to mix in about 25 cards or 20 cards. And then the third deck is going to be mixed in by a card. So it starts to become much more difficult to get that to work out for you. But you just need to know that. So I'm going to advance the Mesopotamia front 1 box from 5 to 4. That's it. And then I have 1 action. I am going to use my 1 action. For 1 action, I can place a minefield or a gun into the Narrows display. You'll notice there are some printed values on these guns. These are static guns that are there no matter what. You have to add to it these additional 3 guns and these 2 minefields, and you're going to have to try to fight off the British, or they're going to get into Constantinople and end the game. So that was the use of my 1 action. We are done with that turn. We've survived the first card. Let's go ahead and, then we have to calculate at the end of every turn the Turkish national will. The national will is a combination of your victories for off-map battles, minus your defeats, minus then the number of flags, enemy flags here, or enemies that are in these flag areas. You will subtract that. So at this point, we have no victories or defeats, so that's a 0, and there are no flags that are taken. We're at a 0, so we stay at a 0. So let's go ahead and draw the second card. The Gorlice-Tarnow. Resolve the Gorlice-Tarnow Eastern Theater off-map battle. I'll show you how that works. Then we're going to advance the Caucasus and the Sinai tracts, and then we get 3 actions. So first, Gorlice-Tarnow. So this is what's called an off-map battle. This is a historical battle in and around these areas. These are in the Eastern Theater. So you can see it has a 2 combat value. I'm going to roll a 6-sider. I can modify it by anytime I have a resource marker in one of these boxes, it's going to give me a +1 against those off-map battles that match. So if I had a resource marker in the Eastern Theater, I would get a +1 on that. I don't have anything yet. I will probably get one of those here in just a moment, but this is just going to be a straight roll. So we're going to roll a d6. I rolled a 4. That's a victory. We overcame that. I put that in the victory box. So that's your easiest one. The rest of them aren't quite as easy, but that's a good start. Then we're going to advance the Caucasus front from 5 to 4. The Sinai front is also activated, and this is the desert. So it's very hard for these armies to make progress in this desert. So in order for this Sinai front to move into space 5 or 4, they have to do what's called an attrition roll they have to roll less than their battle value. Their battle value is a 3. So on a roll or on a 1 or a 2, they are going to advance to box number 5. So let's roll. We rolled a 6. That's greater than their battle value. They do not advance. So that's a benefit for us. Now we have 3 actions. I'm going to take a resource marker, and I'm going to put that for 2 actions into the Eastern Theater. That's going to give me a +1 on the 4 remaining Eastern Theater off-map battles. Those are very important in the game. I then have 1 action left. I'm not necessarily worried about these fronts quite yet. I mean, it'd be nice to knock them back. I'm going to go ahead and put a gun marker at Yildiz. So this is a 3-value gun that I'm putting there for a 1 action. And that uses up our 3 actions. So now we calculate our Turkish national will. 1 victory, no defeats, no flags. So we are at a 1. You can only go 5 plus, and that doesn't get you anything, unfortunately. But that will stave off defeat longer. Let's go to card number 3. So you can see the pace of this game is pretty quick. Turkish mine laying. This is going to allow me to immediately place a minefield marker for free, if available. There is one available, into the Narrows. So now, all of a sudden, we have 2 minefields, which have a 4, and a gun, which is a 3, and you have to roll under those values to score a hit. That's a pretty good situation. I probably want at least 1 more gun, but I'll deal with that here in just a minute. The fronts that advance are the Arab front. The Arab front is not active, so therefore it doesn't get to advance. That's a benefit. Caucasus will activate. It moves down. And then we have 2 actions, +1 DRM to all offensives versus Mesopotamia this turn. So we're definitely going to use some of that. So we're going to use 1 action at a +1 DRM here against the Mesopotamia front. We're going to roll a 6 or 3, a 6-sider. We rolled a 3 +1 is 4. You have to overcome their combat value to drive them back. So that was successful. My next action point, I'm going to go ahead and try to bop back the Caucasus front. I rolled a 2. That does not work. We equaled their combat value. We have to stick it out. End of the turn. National will doesn't change. We're still at a +1. Next card. Jihad declared. Shuffle the Midday cards into the deck. So we're going to take these Midday cards, take the deck that we had, and we're going to shuffle these together. So give me just a minute. I like to try to shuffle them really well. So you can see that's going to make it very hard to get this Intelligence Bureau because now there's 2 of them and it becomes more of a guessing game. But to me, that's thematic and representative of an intelligence game with spies and subterfuge. So we'll go ahead and mix those up. That's our new draw deck. We'll put that there and we continue on with the card. We're going to advance the Caucasus, Mesopotamia, and Sinai. So Caucasus all of a sudden will now get into that box. That's starting to become a worry for us. Mesopotamia, Sinai also gets to advance, but they have to roll. They rolled a 4. They don't advance. So that's a very good thing for us. We also get 3 actions with a +1 DRM to all offensives this turn. So we're definitely going to use at least 2, maybe 3 on offensives. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and try to get the Caucasus back at +1. 3 + 1 is a 4. That drives them back. We're going to go against Mesopotamia. 4 + 1 is a 5. That drives them back. And we have 1 extra action. I'm going to go ahead and move the Intelligence Bureau to India. We'll see if that will pay off. Probably not, but that's what we will do. So that's all 3 of our actions. We still are at +1. No flags have been taken. No other off-map battles. So we're at a 1. Let's draw the next card. Invert to the front. No event. We're going to advance Caucasus and Sinai, and then 2 actions which must be used versus the Caucasus front. and I'm okay with that because they're advancing. So they advance. We're going to use both actions. If you don't use them against that, you lose them. So I rolled a 5. That moves him back. Let's go ahead and roll again. I rolled another 5. Good rolling here today. We moved him back to... So really, the tracks are very much under control. That's a great thing. We've also got the narrows locked up. I would like to at least put one more gun there. We'll see if we can get around to that here in a little bit. National Will stays at 1, and we draw the next card. So this is our first Midday card. We're going to resolve the Verdun Western Theater off-map. I cannot say off-map battle. So we're going to get Verdun, and it's a combat value of a 4, so this is a very challenging one. Then we're going to advance Caucasus and Mesopotamia, and we'll only have one action to use. So we're hoping to roll a 5 or a 6. If we roll a 4, it'll go in the stalemate box, which is better than a loss. So we lost, unfortunately. So that's going to go in the defeats. And I really wanted a +1 there, but that's all right. So now we have a defeat and 1 victory. We're going to move the Caucasus and Mesopotamia. So they both advance 1, and we have 1 action, which at this point, I'm going to use to put my second gun in the Dardanos. So now we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chances to inflict a wound. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I don't think I have to necessarily worry about that, but we'll see. If I have a leftover action, I may put that final gun down. There is a variant that I'm not using today, but you can eventually, once this is closed, you can repurpose these guns to attack a front. It's kind of cool. So that was our 1 action. Let's go ahead and draw the next card. Place the 3 Yildirim markers in their holding box. They are now available for use. So let me show you what they are. These are the Yildirim markers. I can block a Sinai or Mesopotamian advance. So I don't put them in the holding box. I like to put them on the tracks. So I can block a Mesopotamia. All right, what did it say? I just read it. Or Sinai. Sinai or Mesopotamia. So I like to kind of put them on those tracks so I'm reminded I have those resources. So what's going to happen is if they're activated to move, I can block that by discarding one of those tokens. Very valuable and can be a lifesaver at the end of the game. We're going to advance Caucasus and the Salonika front. Salonika is inactive, so only the Caucasus front will be activated. And then we get 1 action. Bummer. Just 1 action. So what are we going to do here? Well, I definitely want to hit Caucasus, so we're going to, and we rolled a 5, so they are pushed back. These States of Siege series games are pretty fun. They're light, but they're kind of whack-a-mole, right? You roll here, you go here, but there are a lot of choices. And I think sometimes people don't give the game the credit that it deserves. All right, hey, this ended up working out for us. The Chadar conspiracy. So there's going to be a coup attempt in India. So we take the Indian coup marker, which is a 5. We have the Intelligence Bureau for the East marker in the India box, if you remember. So we're going to get a +2 to our roll, and we have to get higher than a 5. Rolled a 6, didn't need it. So we helped stage a coup in India as the Ottoman Empire, which is weakening the Brits. So this gets put into our victories box and ultimately is used in our calculations for this national will. Kind of a cool part of the game, but it can be very swingy whether or not you get them accomplished. So we're going to advance the Arab and Gallipoli fronts. Now, Arab is not on the board yet. Gallipoli is not on the board yet. They have to be activated. And then Caucasus will move once, and then we have 2 actions. So Caucasus is kind of a bane of our existence. They move again. I'd really like to get a resource marker out. I think I'm going to risk it. So I'm going to put a resource marker in the Western Theater for our 2 actions. I think that's good. So we're 2 minus 1 is 1. They do have a flag, so we're at a 0. And that's all right. It's not a big deal. End of turn. Let's go ahead and draw the next card. Asia Corps. Take the Asia Corps marker. This will give you +1 DRM for all offensives versus a single front for 1 turn. So we're going to take this marker. And I like to put it kind of right here in the med, just reminding myself, hey, you've got this asset to use, just like the Yadirim markers. Mesopotamia will advance, and we do have 3 actions. So our first action, we're definitely going to try to go against the Caucasus. We knock them back. I really don't have anything else to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put a +1 resource marker in my naval theater box. The naval theater battles are big, 4s and 5s, so I'm going to put that there. And that's all my actions. We hit Caucasus back and put a resource marker out. National Will is now back to a 1. 2 minus 1 is 1 with no flags. Let's go ahead and draw the next card. Fortification of Gaza Beersheba line. I may immediately forfeit this card's 2 actions to place the Gaza Beersheba fortification on Gaza Beersheba. That's right here on the Sinai track. So that is an additional, let me show you the marker. Where is that? Right here. That is an additional kind of speed bump where you can slow down the Sinai front. I have to make a decision. Sinai hasn't advanced yet, but they are going to get that pipeline built. I think I'm going to sacrifice, well, I'm doing that a little out of order. But we put that in that because it's Turkish, it's Ottoman controlled, not Sinai controlled. And then we're going to advance Arab, Mesopotamia, and Salonika. Once again, Salonika and Arab are not on. Mesopotamia gets advanced. I sacrifice those 2 actions. And let me read up on the Gaza Beersheba because it's been a while. I don't get to do that a whole lot. Additional attrition roll in order to enter that space. The roll is made after attrition roll for crossing the desert is made. And it's the same thing. They have to roll less than their battle value to get into Gaza Beersheba. So that's a good defense. It can do it 2 times. The first time they're going to reduce them, and the second time it will be destroyed. So that's a good asset. I think it's worth it. Now we did get Mesopotamia taking away a flag, so we're back 2 minus 1. We're back to 0. I'm all right with that. Let's go ahead and draw the next card. Sinai Pipeline. So we're going to shuffle the Dusk cards into the deck. We're going to put the Arab front on the Faisal Hussein side, the 2 side on the space. It says Jeddah, but it's cars here, and I think that's an error. The Caucasus front has cars. This should have been Jeddah. So that's 1 small errata on the map. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put out the pipeline complete. So what that does is now eliminate the Sinai front from having to make an attrition roll to get across the desert. They have water. We're also going to put the Arab front on its 2 side at 6, Jeddah. And then we're going to mix the Dusk cards into the deck. So this is going to get real nasty real quick. I feel like we haven't even made it very far. I don't think we've even made it out of the morning cards yet. But the Dusk cards are in, and they're a little harder. They start activating and bringing in more fronts. So this is going to make it more challenging, and that's all right. These games are about having a good time and being tested. All right, now the Gallipoli front is not activated, so we got a break there, and Salonika is not either. And we have 1 action. I'm going to take that 1 action to try to get Mesopotamia out of that box. Okay, we rolled a 5. My goodness. There are times I can't roll anything to save my life, but today I'm rolling everything. That's great. National Will ends up being a 1. 2 minus 1, no flags. We're good. Let's draw the next card. All right, no event. There is an optional rule that can be triggered. Arab, Caucasus, and Sinai. So Arab, Caucasus, and Sinai will advance. And we have a total of 2 actions that can be taken. Well, we're definitely going to hit the Caucasus back. Roll a 4, that pushes them back. We're kind of out of danger there. I have another. I'm going to move the India box to Persia in the Intelligence Bureau. That's a use of my action. That's it. Hopefully that will help. Hopefully Persia will be the next one that comes up. End of turn, 2-1. We're still at 1. We're in good shape. Brusilov offensive. So we have to resolve the Brusilov offensive Eastern Theater off-map battle. We're going to advance Salonika, which still isn't in, and then we get 2 actions. So the Brusilov is a 3, and we have a +1 because we have a resource marker in the Eastern Theater. 4 + 1 is 5. We win that battle. That goes into our victories box. We now have 2 actions to spend. I'm going to go ahead and hit Caucasus once. We rolled a 3. That knocks them back. And I'm going to go ahead and hit, I think I'm going to hit Mesopotamia. We rolled a 3. We failed. No positive modifiers this time. All right, we're done with actions. 3 - 1 is 2. We're at a 2. No flags are lost, so our national will is at a 2. The Turkish people of the Ottoman Empire feel very, very strong. All right, Central Powers meddling in Afghanistan. All right, I guessed wrong. I chose Persia. This is now a coup attempt in Afghanistan. We're going to move the Caucasus, Mesopotamia, and Sinai fronts, and then we will get 3 actions. So, Afghanistan, and if you lose these, they go off the map. They don't go into your defeat. So we're going to roll needing a 6. You see it. Bam. So we instigated a coup in Afghanistan. That's awesome. That gives us an extra victory. Now we have a total of 3 actions. No, we got to advance everybody. Caucasus advances. Mesopotamia advances. And Sinai will try to go in Beersheba. Okay, they rolled a 1. They make it. And now they're sitting there. And to move on, they'll have to do another attrition roll. So that's one of the 2 uses of that. That sucked. All right, 3 actions. Well, I'm definitely going to go ahead and try to get Mesopotamia back. Failed. Let's try to get them one more time. Got a 5, pushed them back. And for my 3rd and final action, I think I'm going to try to hit Sinai. Got a 5, we pushed them back. Very good. All right. That's all 3. 4 - 1. We are 3. No enemy flags or enemies on our flags. Bulgaria joins the CP. Advance Mesopotamia and Sinai, and then we just get 1 action. So Mesopotamia goes again. Sinai's going to roll. They rolled a 2, so they make it. They have now destroyed that fort. It goes off the board. You know, it helped us a little bit. And then we just have 1 action. That sucks. Definitely going to hit Mesopotamia. I failed. I rolled a 3. All right. 4 - 1 is a 3. -1 flag. We are at a 2. All right. War weariness. This sucks. Place the war weariness in its box on the map. -1 DRM to all off-map battles while war weariness is in effect. And there's really nothing you can do about that. So that's going to go over there. So that's now going to nullify all of these +1 modifiers. So we're going to be at an even roll. We're now going to roll a die and advance the front that is listed. I'm hoping to roll a 3 or higher because none of those fronts are active. Okay, we rolled a 3, which would have been, Arab is active. Doggone it. So the Arab front's going to move. We now have no actions allowed, including German staff operations. So I don't get any actions. That sucks. But at least that bad card is out of the way. German staff operations, let me talk to you about that really quick. Rather than putting a resource marker into these off-map theater boxes as modifiers, you can buy these German staff operations tokens. You put them in your kind of available resources, and you can use those for 2 actions at any point during the game. I might start choosing that only because we're doing so well on those fronts, but we'll kind of play that out as we go on. I have no actions. 4 minus 1 is a 3, minus 1 is a 2. We are good. Let's draw the next card. Erzurum offensive. Caucasus advances. 2 actions, no offensives versus Caucasus this turn. So they advance there, and I have 2 total actions. I'm going to go ahead and go against the Caucasus. Failed miserably. And I'm going to hit Caucasus again. Got a 4, so that knocks them back. All right. All the actions are taken. I couldn't hit them, or I would have. And we're in danger zone now. 4 minus 1 is a 3, minus 1 is a 2. We're still at a 2 for National Will. Let's move on to the next card. No event this turn. The Balfour Declaration. Arab, Gallipoli, and Mesopotamia all move. Gallipoli's not active yet, which is hilarious. 2 actions, +1 DRM to all offensives versus Sinai this turn. Probably won't be doing against Sinai, but Arab and Mesopotamia are kind of in my grill. So we're going to go against Caucasus here. We rolled a 6, so we move them back. We're also going to roll Mesopotamia. Or should I go ahead and do Sinai? I'm going to go ahead and do Sinai because I can stop Mesopotamia. Yeah, let's do Sinai. Okay, I rolled a 4. We push Sinai back. That was a good choice. That would have worked against Mesopotamia as well. So those are my 2 actions. 4 minus 1 is 3, minus 1 flag, which is controlled by Mesopotamia. We are down to 2 still. Persia. Oh, we have the intelligence token in Persia. So we're going to do a coup in Persia, and then those coups are going to be done. We're going to advance Caucasus and Gallipoli and then take 2 actions. So here's the Persia marker. We're at +2. Bam, we destroyed it. I've never gotten all 3 of those. I've only ever gotten 2. So that was excellent. Wow, really cool. All right, Caucasus is going to move. Gallipoli is not on, which is, I've never seen Gallipoli not be on yet, but that's pretty interesting. That just means they're going to be heavy at the end of the game, and we're going to have to be aware of that. So I'm going to knock Caucasus back 1, rolled a 3, knocks them back, and I have 1 action left. I'm going to hit Mesopotamia, and I failed. Should have went for, yeah. All right, so 5 minus 1 is 4, minus 1, our national will is a 3. It is increased. Let's draw a card. Gallipoli. Here's Gallipoli. We're going to activate the Gallipoli front and put it on the Hamilton's 2 side at Cape Helles. And then we're going to destroy the guns here at Settleba here. There's a marker which destroys that gun. And that's my biggest gun. But that's all right. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenses to hit the British Navy 4 times, and I can get the U-boats, which would close that. We're going to advance Arab and Caucasus, and then we're going to have 2 actions. So Arab, Caucasus, and we're going to have 2 actions, and we're going to do Caucasus first. Rolled a 4, push them back, and then we're going to do the Arab as well. Rolled a 3, that pushes them back. Very good. All right, National Will. 5 minus 1 is 4, minus 1 for the box. We are at a 3, so nothing changed. Next card. Hoffman Offensive. Resolve the Hoffman Offensive Eastern Theater off-map battle. So we're going to go ahead and resolve that. That's a 2. Remember, War Weariness is going to cancel out my +1 DRM. We rolled a 6, so we won. Wow, I'm doing really well. I shouldn't say that because now I'm going to jinx myself. Back to the card. Arab and Sinai will move. So Arab moves back and Sinai moves in. Remember, there's no fort there now. And then we only get one action, +1 to all offensives versus Caucasus this turn. Well, we don't need... I'm going to go ahead and hit Arab. And you might say, well, Grant, why aren't you hitting Caucasus or Mesopotamia? Well, remember, I can stop Sinai and Mesopotamia with these cards. So I'm more concerned now at this point with the Arab. Plus, I know there's an event in here that will move the Mesopotamia back to its 5 box, and that should be coming up soon. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Arabs. Just a straight roll. We failed. So that's not good. Well, that's it. I could have done +1 versus Caucasus, but they're not scaring me as much right now. So 6 victories minus a defeat is 5, minus 2 flags is 3. No change. We've got 2 of them occupied by the fronts. Got to get those out. All right, Jutland Naval Theater off-map battle. This one's hard. This one's a 5. So basically, with war weariness, it's going to be a straight roll. I need a 5 or a 6 to have a beneficial outcome. Mesopotamia, Gallipoli, and Salonika all move. Let's go ahead and fight the battle first. Just a straight roll, and we failed. So that goes in the defeat box. Mesopotamia, Gallipoli, and Salonika will move. Gallipoli's not... Oh, I was supposed to put Gallipoli on. They move up 1. Did I miss an advance for them? Nope. So I just missed the advance. I forgot to put them on, so that's my fault. Salonika still is not, and now we have 2 actions. So let's go ahead and do the Arab front. We knock them back. And let's try to knock Mesopotamia back 1, and we fail. So that's all right. All right, now 6 minus 2 is a 4, minus 2 is a 2. We're down to a 2. You can see these can pile up really quick, particularly if you have a lot of losses. We've been pretty fortunate. Next card, the Somme. Resolve the Somme Western Theater off-map battle. Then we're going to advance Gallipoli, which is on. Salonika is not, and then we have 1 action. So we're going to do the Somme, which is a 3, and that's going to be a straight roll. And we rolled a 4, we won. So we're going to put that in our victories box. I'm going to move those down a little bit. So we now have 7 victories against only 2 defeats. Very, very good for us. Gallipoli will move. They're now in the danger zone. And Salonika still is inactive, which is excellent for us, frankly. We have 1 action. I'm going to go ahead and hit Gallipoli and try to get them off that front. Rolled a 6, so we push them back. That's all our actions. We only had 1. So 7 victories minus 2 defense is 5. We have 2 flags that are taken over. We're up to a 3. So we increased 1 with that off-map battle victory. Next card. Udenich named Commander-in-Chief. If it is on the map, and it is, the Caucasus will get replaced with the Udenich side. So it's the same flag. So we're going to come over here and find the Udenich counter, which is a pretty good one for them. That's not good for us. They turn from a 2 to a 4. We're then going to advance the Arab and Mesopotamia and take 2 actions. Arab, and we have to use one of these markers to stop the Mesopotamia track from advancing. So we're down to 2 of those, and now we have 2 actions. We've got to do some work here because we are in danger. All right, I only have 2 actions, though. My goodness. All right, I'm definitely going to use my marker here to be +1 against Mesopotamia because I need to knock them back at least a couple. So we're going to use that. I have 2 actions. I'm going to use that here. 5 + 1 is a 6. Next one at +1. 3 + 1 is a 4. We used that marker, which gave us +1 DRM on all offensives on the same track this turn. And that paid off big time as we knocked Mesopotamia back 2 boxes and got them off of our doorstep because they were breathing down our necks. All right, that's all of our actions. This turn is gone. 7 victories minus 2 defeats. That's 5. Only 1 flag. So that's a 5+, right? No, wait. 7 minus 2 is 5, minus 1 is 4. We're at a 4. I'm math challenged, guys. Can't believe I'm playing these war games and I'm math challenged. All right, next card. We're doing pretty well. Senussi Revolt. We're gonna retreat Sinai. They're gonna go from 4 to 5. That's excellent. There's only 2 or 3 cards in the whole deck that retreat. Then Mesopotamia and Gallipoli will move, and then we have 2 actions. So Gallipoli moves, Mesopotamia moves, and we only have 2 actions. Definitely going to do Gallipoli with 1. We rolled a 3. That knocks them back. And then we're going to go against Mesopotamia with a 4. That knocks them back. Very good. So end of the turn, that's our 2 actions. 7 minus 2 is 5. Minus 1 flag is a 4. Next card. Moving along at a pretty good clip. Landings at Salonika. So we're going to activate the Salonika front. We're going to place the Serail front on space number 4. So all of a sudden we've got another front to worry about. We're going to advance the Caucasus, and we only have 1 action. So Caucasus move up. We have 1 action. We're going to go ahead and that's I need a 5 or a 6. That makes that really, 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 really hard. I'm going to go ahead and try to knock the Arabs back, and I failed. Dang it. All right. Once again, 7 minus 2 is 5. Now we have 2 flags. We're down to 3, so we dropped 1. All right. Dunster Force. You must forfeit this card's 2 actions or add Dunster Force defeat to the defeat box. We're going to advance the Arab and the Sinai, and then we could... So all of a sudden, Arab is there. Sinai is there. I can't afford to give up those 2 actions because they're right on my doorstep. So we put that into the losses box. That's going to hurt ultimately. I'm going to go ahead and attack the Arab front with 1. Arab front with 2, and this may end up being the place that kills us. Okay. Arabs go back 1. We are 7 minus 3 of 4. We have just 2 flags. We're down to 2. Our national will continues to drop. All right, the U-boat campaign. Resolve the U-boat campaign naval theater off-map battle, which is a 4. Let's go ahead and do that. So we have to roll a 5 or a 6 to win this. We failed. So all of a sudden we've got some losses piling up. And that's going to start hurting our political will. We're going to advance Arab, Mesopotamia, and Sinai, and then have 3 actions. So Arab, Mesopotamia, and Sinai, and then have 3 actions. So I'm definitely going to do Arab once. Jeez. Arab twice. Okay. Wow. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at Caucasus. Yeah, tied. All right, well, we're in trouble here, guys. I feel like this is starting to really add up in a negative way. So we have 7 victories versus 4 defeats. That's a 3. There are 3 flags, so we're at a 0. We're really taking steps backwards. We need something to go our way, and I'm not sure much is going to go our way. Second Battle of Ypres. So we're going to roll against that 4, so that's going to be bad. Caucasus and Sinai will move, and then only 1 action. Ypres, we fail it, so we have another defeat. We're on our way to losing this, guys. Caucasus moves, not good. Sinai moves, they kind of stack up there. And then we have 1 action. Well, we've definitely got to go against the Caucasus. So we're going to roll, and we failed. So I'm just going to call it right now. My guess is we're going to lose on this next card, but we'll see. So we have 7 victories minus 5 defeats. That's plus 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 flags. We are at -2. It just continues to get worse. All right. Suvla Landing. It's going to get worse here because Gallipoli is going to get better. We're going to replace the Gallipoli front with its 3 side. We're going to flip that over. It becomes harder to defeat. Now we're going to advance Caucasus, which ends the game for us, Gallipoli, and Sinai. So I cannot stop Caucasus from moving in. They move into Constantinople, and they defeat me. Damn. Felt like we were doing pretty good there, and then all of a sudden it just went to crap. And you can see when these markers start getting higher, when they start getting to their 4 side and their 3 sides, they become so much harder to push back. If you remember, this Caucasus front started at a 2. Very, very simple to defeat a 2 for the most part. Well, that's the way the cookies crumble. But you did get a good feel for how the game, works. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, 28. We got through 30 cards out of 50. So we got about 60% done, right? That's the way it goes. So let's start, just keep drawing. So here, that was going to get worse for us. All of a sudden, the Sinai was going to become a 4. Not good. Arabs would advance. They'd be on our doorstep. Caucasus would have advanced again. I wanted to show you how the narrows work. Oh, the Arabs are going to get better. Lawrence of Arabia is going to show up. Caucasus advance. And then finally, we were going to do forcing the narrows. Let me show you how the forcing the narrows battle works. I'm going to go ahead and come over here so you can get a better look. Bring my dice and tower over here. So what's going to happen is you're going to put the British Fortitude marker in the 4 space. And then the Royal Navy is going to show up. There is nothing here at Settled Bahir. They destroyed the guns with the Gallipoli landing. So you're going to move on to the second box. And this is just going to be a progressive move, shoot. They move past, shoot. They might take a hit. If they don't get down to a 0, they enter Constantinople and the game can end in that way. This is not modified by anything. We don't have any events that modify that. So let me just show you how this works. So the Coup Kale gun is only a 2. I have to roll a 1 or a 2 to do damage. I rolled a 3, so I did no damage. The Royal Navy goes on by, goes to my minefield. All right, let me double check this to make sure it's not less than. I feel like it's less than or equal to, but let me just double check. Higher than the battle value, less than or equal to, they take a hit. All right, we have a minefield. This is a good chance. And we rolled a 6, so we missed. So now they move up to the gun at Yildiz. So we're starting to sweat it because we've done no hits. Have to roll a 3 or less. Rolled a 1. So British Fortitude will move down to a 3. And they move on to the next gun. Here at the Dardanelles, rolling again, rolled a 2. So feeling pretty good. They've taken 2 hits. Now they go to the minefield, which is a 4. I rolled a 3, so excellent. Now they go to this 2 box, Kanakal. Roll a die. I need a 1 or a 2, and I rolled a 6, so nothing. There is no gun at Nagara, so this is going to come down to the very final gun here at Constantinople. And it's a 4 combat value, so I have to roll a 4 or less, or they move in. And I rolled a 5, so they took it over. I would lose the game automatically. So that's how the Narrows procedure works. I want to show you this, because this is cool. So there is an event in the second deck, right, called the German U-boats in the Mediterranean. So when this comes up, you're going to place U-boats in the Narrows. You have a U-boat, cool U-boat marker. This gets placed here in the Narrows. And then this cannot go off. Once that has been placed, it has closed down the Narrows. Unfortunately for us, we lost the game even before this, but we would have lost that game as well. So there you have it. There was my quick playthrough, which I feel bad. I've only won this game one time, guys. One stinking time. And that one actually had a lot of the same feeling. I felt like things were going well. When I had a huge advantage up there in those victories, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have to sweat so much. But man, here at the end, it all caved in on me. And you saw at one point I had all the fronts really under control. But unfortunately, some of the good events for me didn't come up that would have driven Mesopotamia back. There is an event that gets rid of the Caucasus front. Unfortunately, didn't get that, and the game ended in a defeat. Now, you're going to play this game. More often than not, you're going to lose. So you need to understand that going in. I don't say that jokingly. You're going to lose this game a lot. This is now my 10th play, and I've won once, and really only came close once with my victory. So there you have it. Ottoman Sunset, The Great War in the East, 1914 to 1918, third edition from Victory Point Games, Tabletop Tycoon. Excellent game. I love this and its partner game, Habsburg Eclipse. And you can see there's a way to connect them up here in the top left of the map by the Berlin-Baghdad Railway. You can play the game then basically together, two-handed. I want to try that definitely just to get a feel for it. It does change the game a little bit. It has some extra rules, some new things, but the game is fun. I enjoy it. Have a good time every time I play this. I don't regret playing it ever, and I'm glad that I had this opportunity to share it with you. So thanks for watching. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.